All right, welcome back. We are going to now talk about layers. So this whole demo is about layers. Layers is a panel that you are going to find great use in. And so layers is down here. Again, if you, it may look a little bit different on your screen depending on how it was set up last. If you don't see layers, all you got to do is go to Window, find layers, and make sure that it's clicked on. So for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to pull this up here just so that you can see it a little bit better. So, okay, so right now, automatically, you're always going to have one layer that that things are on. And imagine, like, if you were to stack transparency papers on top of things, and if there is one image drawn on each transparency paper, you'd be able to see through the parts that weren't drawn on to whatever image is below. So this works in the exact same way. Now, switch your brain over to imagine like a hamburger, right? So we have a bun, the burger, cheese, whatever else you have, another bun, and that stuff gets stacked, right? This is layers also get stacked, and the order of them really does matter. So I want to show you how they work. So right now I have, actually I'm going to delete that. I have my layer 1, and I'm going to add a new layer. Right there's a little icon next to the trash can that says create a new layer. And I want to make this whole page be filled with a color like blue or purple. And there's no like magic button that I can press and say, okay, whole artboard canvas, be purple. So instead I have to use a tool, like a shape tool, like the rectangle tool, and draw over that. A lot of times I'll like to draw over it just to make sure I covered the whole surface. And now I'll go down here. Oops, I have this in the front. That's why that stroke is, it's changing the stroke but not the actual color. So I'll flop those two around and I'll make sure it has no stroke. So I can do that. There's multiple ways you can change colors in this program, so play around with those. We'll get to know them eventually. Okay, so now I have a purple canvas, and it's on layer 2. Now I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I made some like mountain silhouettes over here, and they're all black. Now I'm going to move this onto my screen so you guys can see it. Trick. Haha, you can't see it. Why? Well, that's because my layer 2, where my background, my purple background is actually above the mountains that I drew. So now I need to move that layer down below that. Quick click and drag, and it's moved. How awesome is that? So now let's zoom in and check that out. So there is my mountains on a purple background. Maybe just for your sake, I should probably lighten these up a little bit in case you can't see it very well on the screen. All I keep doing is changing that. There we go. That's better. Okay, so move them over just a little bit. There. Okay. Now, if I want to put a sun in the background on this, I could create a new layer. And I'll take my ellipse tool. Ellipse is a fancy word for circle. I'll draw a big circle and then I'll change its color. Beautiful. Okay, now if I really want that sun to be behind these mountains, guess what? You just move that layer behind that mountain. Maybe I'll drop that down a little bit. How about put it over here? Now I can play around with that. Now if I want to play around with this, but I don't want to have to worry about clicking something else accidentally, like my mountains or my background, there's a quick tool that you, thing you can turn on. And it's this little lock. So I can lock that layer and I can lock that layer, and now I can't grab. I'm clicking on these and I can't grab them because they're frozen. So now I can just click this and I can move that around and play around with where I want that to go. Pretty cool. Another thing that might be neat, let me draw another big moon. Let me change the color. What should we make it? Let's go crazy and let's go with like a green moon. You just never know. Okay, now I'm going to put that moon maybe right here. Okay. Oops, sorry. I want that to go on a new layer. There it is. So now I'm up to 4 layers here. Okay, now this is going to be a good technique to use, the one I'm about to show you here. If you want to try out a couple of options on things that you're doing. So see these little eyes right here? These are called your toggles, your visibility. At any time I can turn off a layer so that it's like it's not there. It's still there, I just can't see it. And so now I can say, okay, well, do I like the orange sun or do I like the green sun? Orange, green. So use these tools to your advantage. They're great ways to stay organized, and as your drawings get more and more complex and you have lots of things going on each layer, it's going to be really good to divide different sections up into these layers, and you can move them around and try out all sorts of new things. One more thing about layers. So like let's say now this green one, I really don't care for that. So I can click on that layer and I'm gonna erase that. Gone. So, and I can also double click on these and see how it says the color red there. I can change the color of the layer. So the only thing that means is that now when I have them locked so I can't pick it. When I grab, see it's a red bounding box. When I grab the mountains, they're a blue bounding box. Notice the blue right there. When I grab the sun, it's a green bounding box. So this is also a great way to stay organized as you get more complex with your drawings. You can just kind of scan around the document and find the right bounding box to find the right layer that you want. So, all right, that's all about layers. Stay tuned for lines. Those are coming up next.